Lisa ran through the crystal corridors of the palace, her heart pounding in her chest. The Dracs had arrived earlier than expected. Their scouts must have detected the human presence and accelerated their attack. The war room was a dome of shifting light where three-dimensional projections showed the approaching Drax fleet. Hundreds of black angular ships moved in perfect formation like a swarm of deadly insects. Queen Zalara stood at the center of the room, her four arms manipulating the holographic displays. Her generals surrounded her, each controlling different aspects of the Zyrax defenses. "They have changed their approach pattern," the Queen said as Lisa entered. "They come not in waves, but as a single coordinated force." Lisa studied the display. The Drax ships moved with mathematical precision, each vessel maintaining exact distances from the others. They were disturbingly efficient. "We need to disrupt their formation," Lisa said. "Introduce chaos into their order." The Zyrax general with facial markings, who Lisa had learned was named General Thela, nodded. "Human captain, our scientists have incorporated your unpredictable algorithms into our defensive systems, but the Drax have adapted. They are using new attack patterns we have not seen before. Show me the Zyrax fleet," Lisa requested. The hologram shifted, revealing the Zyrax ships in defensive positions around their homeworld. Unlike the Drax vessels, the Zyrax ships were organic in design, with flowing lines and curved surfaces. They glowed with internal light pulsing like heartbeats. Catherine, who had followed Lisa to the war room, pointed to a section of the display. "Look at this formation. The Drax are creating a wedge aimed directly at the palace." Lisa turned to the Queen. "Your Majesty, they know where you are. They're targeting your location specifically." The Queen's luminescent skin pulsed with what Lisa had learned was concern. "They seek to remove our leadership. They know our society requires the royal connection to coordinate our defense." "What do you mean?" Lisa asked. The Queen gestured, and the display zoomed in on the Crystal City. "The palace sits at the nexus of our planetary defense grid. My consciousness helps direct the energy flow. Without it, our ships lose half their power. Then we need to move you to a secure location," Lisa suggested. The Queen shook her head. "I cannot leave the nexus." But another solution presents itself. She turned her opal eyes to Lisa. "Your unpredictability, your human chaos could shield me before." Lisa could ask what she meant. The palace shuddered as the first Drax weapons struck the outer defenses. The holographic display flashed red in several locations. "They have breached the outer atmosphere," General Thela announced. "Our first line of ships is engaging." The display showed Zyrax vessels moving to intercept the Drax fleet. Energy beams connected the opposing forces as the battle began. "We have no time to explain," the Queen said to Lisa. "You must gather your crew and meet me in the crystal chamber. The fate of my world may rest in human hands." As the Queen and her generals rushed from the war room, Lisa contacted her crew through the communication device the Zyrax had given her. "Everyone to the crystal chamber immediately," she ordered. "We have an emergency situation." Within minutes, Lisa and her 5 crew members assembled in a chamber deep beneath the palace. The walls, floor, and ceiling were made of raw crystal that pulsed with inner light. The Queen arrived with General Thela and 3 Zyrax scientists. "What we ask is unprecedented," one scientist explained. "We have never attempted to merge our consciousness with a non-Zyrax species." "Merge our consciousness," Lisa repeated. "What exactly are you suggesting?" The Queen stepped forward. "Captain Morgan, my people evolved in symbiosis with the crystals of our world. We can merge our minds with the crystal network, allowing us to coordinate our defenses across vast distances. But the Drax have studied our patterns for generations. They can predict and counter our movements. And you think adding humans to this network would help?" Laura asked skeptically. "The unpredictability of your thought patterns would introduce an element the Drax cannot calculate," the Queen confirmed. "They're predictive. Models would fail." Nicole, the doctor, stepped forward. "This sounds medically risky. What effect would this have on human physiology?" The Zyrax scientist with pale blue skin gestured to several crystal pedestals in the center of the room. "We have modified the interface for your biology. There should be no permanent effects, but we cannot be certain. No human has ever connected to the network, Lisa. looked at her crew. Their faces showed a mixture of fear, curiosity, and determination. "This is volunteer only," she said firmly. "I won't order anyone to do this." Samantha adjusted her glasses and stepped forward. "Well, I didn't come millions of light years from Earth to back down from new scientific experiences." "Count me in." Mary nodded. "I'm with Samantha. This is the ultimate biological interface," Catherine Laura and Nicole exchanged glances, then stepped forward as well. "If this helps defeat an enemy that could eventually threaten Earth." Catherine said, "Then we have a duty to try." Lisa turned to the Queen. "All 6 of us are willing." The Queen bowed, a gesture of deep respect among her people. "Place your hands on the crystals and clear your minds. The connection will feel strange at first, but resist the urge to fight it." Lisa and her crew each approached a crystal pedestal. The crystals hummed with energy, pulsating with a soft blue glow. Lisa placed her hands on the smooth surface and felt an immediate tingling sensation that traveled up her arms. "Close your eyes," the Queen instructed as she and General Thala placed their 4 hands on larger crystals. "Feel the connection forming." Lisa closed her eyes. The tingling intensified, spreading throughout her body. Then suddenly, her mind expanded. She could feel the presence of her crew like bright stars. In her consciousness and beyond them, the vast network of Xerax minds connected through crystal. She gasped as her awareness stretched further. She could see through the eyes of Xerax pilots in their ships, feel the energy weapons as extensions of her own body. The entire defense grid became visible in her mind, a web of light surrounding the planet. The Drax fleet appeared as a dark mass of cold calculation. Their ships moved with perfect precision, but now Lisa could see the patterns, the mathematical formulas guiding their movements. "We need to introduce randomness," she thought. And the entire network heard her. The Xerax minds responded with curiosity and excitement. Lisa could feel her crew integrating into the network as well, each bringing their unique perspective. Samantha understood the physics of space combat and began suggesting impossible maneuvers. Mary applied biological concepts to fleet movements, creating organic, unpredictable patterns. Laura contributed engineering insights, allowing ships to perform beyond their specifications. Catherine enhanced communications between vessels, and Nicole monitored the biological stress on both humans and Xerax, suggesting optimal recovery periods. Through it all, Queen Zalera's consciousness guided them, weaving their human chaos into the elegant Xerax defense. In the physical world, their bodies remained in the crystal chamber, but their minds soared with the fleet. The Xerax ships began moving in ways they never had before, breaking formation, only to reform in unexpected configurations. Several would appear to retreat, drawing Drax vessels into pursuit only to be ambushed from impossible angles. The Drax responded by adjusting their algorithms, but with 6 human minds adding randomness to the Xerax coordination, they could not predict the next move. The perfect mathematical precision that had made the Drax so formidable became their weakness. They could not compute the illogical. Lisa felt a surge of triumph as the first wave of Drax ships fell into disarray, their formation breaking as they tried to adapt to the unpredictable attacks. But the victory was short-lived. A second larger wave of Drax vessels emerged from hyperspace. These ships were different, larger, and equipped with weapons the Xerax had never seen. "We have a problem," Lisa projected into the network. They brought reinforcements. The Queen's consciousness enveloped Lisa's. Their long-range scanners failed to detect these vessels. They must have developed cloaking technology. The new Drax ships fired massive energy weapons that cut through the Xerax defenses. Several crystal towers in the city collapsed as direct hits bypassed their shields. Lisa could feel the pain of the Xerax as their living technology suffered. "They're adapting faster than expected." General Thala's thoughts echoed. "Their flagship carries an artificial intelligence core that learns from each encounter." Lisa focused on the Drax flagship, a massive vessel shaped like a geometric nightmare of sharp angles and black metal. It hung back from the main battle, protected by layers of smaller ships. "That's our target," she projected. "If we can destroy their command, AI, the rest will fall into disarray." But it's impossible to reach Queen Zalera. responded, "Their defensive screen is impenetrable." Nothing is impenetrable, Lisa thought, a smile forming on her physical body. We just need to think like humans, not like Zyrax or Drax. She drew on her knowledge of Earth military history, specifically the concept of Trojan horses and false flag operations. Then she shared a plan so illogical, so contrary to all military doctrine that it made the Zyrax minds recoil in shock. That sacrifices our most powerful vessels. One general protested, "It appears." To the Queen confirmed, "But appearance is what matters. The Drax predict based on value. They cannot conceive of us sacrificing our strongest assets as a deception." Lisa Morgan never expected to be the first human to meet the ruler of the Zyrax Empire. The small research ship she commanded was supposed to chart the outer edges of the Andromeda Galaxy, not crash land on an unknown planet. But here she was standing, before Queen Zalara of the Zyrax, a tall blue-skinned being with 4 arms and eyes that shimmered like opals. The Queen had been in her private chambers when Lisa accidentally broke through the palace security systems, and now the alien ruler stood there without her royal garments, her luminescent skin glowing in the dim light. Lisa froze. Her training at Space Command had prepared her for first contact protocols, but not for walking in on an undressed alien monarch. The Queen did not scream or call for guards. Instead, she tilted her head and studied Lisa with curious eyes. A human female, the Queen said, her voice melodic and surprisingly clear in English. "Your kind has never ventured this far before." Lisa bowed awkwardly, keeping her eyes on the floor. "Your Majesty, I apologize for the intrusion. My ship crashed and I was seeking help." The Queen moved to a wall panel and pressed her long fingers against it. A flowing robe materialized around her body, woven from what looked like liquid starlight. "Raise your head, human. The Zyrax do not consider nakedness shameful as your species does. Tell me your name." "Lisa Morgan, Captain of Earth, research vessel. Northern Star." The Queen circled Lisa, examining her with fascination. "In all my 300 cycles, I have heard tales of humans. Your species is considered primitive yet strangely resilient. Our scholars believed you would not achieve interstellar travel for another century." Lisa stood taller. "We humans tend to exceed expectations." Smile formed on the Queen's face, revealing teeth like small diamonds. "Indeed. You certainly exceeded my expectation by appearing in my private chamber. Perhaps you are exactly what our empire needs." The Queen explained that the Zyrax Empire was losing a war against the Drax, a ruthless warrior race from a neighboring galaxy. The Drax believed themselves superior to all life forms and sought to enslave or exterminate others. "Our technology is advanced, but we lack the unpredictability that makes your species so formidable," the Queen said, leading Lisa to a massive window overlooking a city of crystal spires and floating platforms. "The Drax calculate every move perfectly, but humans, they cannot predict humans." Lisa felt both pride and concern. "Your Majesty, I'm just a research captain with a crew of 5 scientists. We're hardly military." The Queen's 4 hands gestured simultaneously, creating a holographic display showing the Zyrax fleet. "One human mind may be worth an entire battleship of Zyrax strategists. The Drax have never encountered your kind. They have no models for your thinking." Lisa studied the holographic display, noticing the elegant design of the Zyrax ships. They were curved and smooth, unlike the sharp, angular vessels of Earth. The display showed hundreds of enemy ships approaching the Zyrax homeworld. "How long until they arrive?" Lisa asked her military training. "Taking over 7 planetary cycles," the Queen answered. "Our defenses will not hold against their numbers." Lisa thought about her small crew of scientists. Mary Wilson, the biologist Samantha Green, the physicist Laura Taylor, the engineer Catherine White, the communications specialist, and Nicole Brown, the doctor. They had expected a peaceful research mission, but now found themselves in the middle of an interplanetary war. "May I bring my crew here? I believe they could help us develop strategies." The Queen nodded. Her 4 arms moved in a graceful pattern, summoning a servant. A slender male Zyrax with pale, blue skin appeared, bowing deeply. "Escort the human to her vessel and bring her companions to the palace." The male servant guided Lisa through the Crystal Palace. The architecture was unlike anything on Earth. Buildings seemed to grow from the ground, rather than being constructed. Corridors curved organically and light emanated from the walls themselves. They reached a transport platform that floated several inches above the ground. When Lisa stepped onto it, she felt a gentle vibration. The platform accelerated smoothly, carrying them out of the palace and over the alien city. From above, Lisa could see the true scale of Xerax civilization. The city stretched for miles with buildings of various heights and designs. Gardens floated in the air, connected by translucent bridges. Strange creatures that resembled birds with 6 wings soared between structures. The crashed Northern Star lay in a field outside the city. Lisa's heart sank seeing the damage. The main engine was destroyed and the hull had a massive tear along the starboard side. Repairing it would take months even with Earth technology. The crew had set up a makeshift camp beside the ship. When they saw Lisa approaching on the floating platform, they rushed forward, weapons ready. "It's okay," Lisa called out, raising her hands. "This is a friendly escort." The crew lowered their weapons but remained tense. Mary Wilson stepped forward, her red hair blowing in the alien wind. "What happened, Captain?" "We thought you'd been captured. I've met their leader," Lisa explained. "They're called the Xerax and they need our help." Laura Taylor. The engineer snorted, pointing at their damaged ship. "And what exactly are we supposed to do? We can barely help ourselves right now." Lisa smiled. "Trust me. They have technology that makes ours look primitive. They can repair our ship. But first we need to help them with a little problem." "What kind of problem?" Samantha asked, adjusting her glasses. "An invasion by a hostile species that could threaten Earth too, if we don't stop them here." The crew exchanged looks. Nicole Brown, the doctor, spoke first. "So much for our peaceful research mission." The Xerax servant waited patiently as Lisa convinced her crew to gather their essential equipment and research data. Within an hour, they were all on floating platforms heading back to the Crystal Palace. The throne room of Queen Zalara stunned the human visitors. Massive columns of what appeared to be liquid crystal supported a ceiling that displayed the galaxy. Above, light filtered through the transparent roof, casting rainbow patterns on the polished floor. The queen sat on a throne that seemed to be made of living metal, shifting and adjusting to her movements. Around her stood a dozen female Xerax, all dressed in elaborate armor that curved around their forearms. Captain Morgan, the queen, acknowledged Lisa as the humans entered. "You have brought your crew as promised." Lisa bowed and her team followed her example. "These are Earth's finest scientists, Your Majesty. Together we hope to find a way to defeat the Drax." The queen rose from her throne, towering over the humans at nearly 8 feet tall. Her movements were fluid and graceful, despite her size. "The Xerax War Council has prepared quarters for your team and access to our technology. We must work quickly." The Drax approached with every passing moment. Over the following days, Lisa and her crew immersed themselves in Xerax technology. Catherine, the communications specialist, learned the basics of their language while Samantha studied their advanced physics. Nicole worked with Xerax doctors, learning about their biology. Mary examined the local ecosystem, and Laura explored their engineering marvels. Lisa worked directly with the Queen and her generals, developing battle strategies that incorporated human unpredictability with Xerax technology. The Xerax were brilliant and methodical, but their strategies were too predictable, too perfect. The Drax, having fought them for generations, could anticipate their every move. "What if we do something completely illogical?" Lisa suggested during a War Council meeting. "What if we appear to retreat, drawing their fleet into a specific formation, then attack from multiple vectors in a pattern? That makes no mathematical sense." The Xerax generals looked confused. One with deep blue skin and elaborate facial markings spoke. "But that would sacrifice our outer defenses for no tactical advantage." "Exactly." Lisa smiled. "That's why they won't expect it. Humans sometimes call it crazy, like a fox." The Queen's eyes brightened. "I begin to understand. The Drax rely on logic and prediction. They expect us to protect what is most valuable. But if we appear to act against our own interests, they won't know how to respond." Lisa finished as the days passed. Lisa found herself growing closer to Queen Zalara. The alien ruler invited her for private meetings where they discussed not just war strategy, but philosophy, art, and the nature of their different species. Humans evolved as predators and prey simultaneously, Lisa explained, as they walked through a garden where plants responded to their presence by changing colors. We had to be unpredictable to survive, both to catch food and to avoid becoming food. Fascinating, the Queen replied. We Zyrax evolved in symbiosis with our environment. Our earliest ancestors formed bonds with the crystal formations of this world. Our bodies can partially merge with certain minerals, allowing us to draw energy directly from our planet. Is that how your technology works? Lisa asked, observing a nearby plant that seemed to be singing a soft melody. Yes, the Queen nodded. All Zyrax technology is partially alive. We grow our ships and buildings rather than construct them. They are extensions of ourselves. That is why the Drax technology is so dangerous to us. Their machines disrupt our connection to our creations. On the 5th day, the Zyrax scientists completed repairs on the Northern Star, the ship now incorporated elements of Zyrax technology, making it faster and more efficient than before. Your vessel is ready, the Queen informed Lisa, but I hope you will stay until the battle is won. We need your human perspective. Lisa looked at her crew, who nodded in agreement. We're staying, Your Majesty. Earth would want us to help potential allies. The Queen's 4 hands performed a complex gesture that Lisa had learned was a sign of deep respect. Your bravery honors us, Captain. The missile cut through the atmosphere of the Zyrax homeworld like a dark comet trailing ominous black energy. Behind it, the final Drax ship exploded, a victim of its own desperate attack. The Queen's 4 hands moved rapidly over crystal controls as she accessed the planetary defense grid. We cannot stop it, she said, her voice tense. It will strike near the eastern crystal fields. Lisa rushed to her side. Is it nuclear? Worse, General, Thala replied. It contains a consciousness disruptor. If it detonates, it will sever our connection to the crystal network across half the continent. Millions of my people will die when their bond is broken. Samantha stepped forward, her scientific mind already analyzing the problem. If we can't stop it, maybe we can contain it. What if we created a localized dampening field? The Queen looked at her with new hope. How would you accomplish this? Laura joined them, pulling up schematics of Zyrax technology on a nearby display. We could modify the crystal harmonics to create a resonance bubble, she suggested. The missile would still detonate, but the effects would be contained. The Zyrax scientists exchanged glances. We have never attempted such a modification, the pale blue scientist said. But the theory is sound. Need to move quickly, Nicole warned. The missile will impact in less than 20 minutes. The Queen made a decision. We will try your solution. Lisa, you and your crew will evacuate to your ship immediately. This is not your battle to die. For Lisa shook her head. We're staying. We started this fight together. We'll finish it together. The Queen's opal eyes shimmered with emotion. Your courage honors us. Captain Morgan, they rushed to the nearest transport platform, which carried them to the crystal fields, east of the city. The missile's projected impact point was a massive formation of raw crystals that pulsed with blue energy. Lisa could feel the vibration even without the neural connection she had experienced earlier. These crystals form the secondary nexus of our planetary network, the Queen explained as the Zyrax scientists began setting up equipment. If the disruptor destroys them, our defense grid will collapse. Laura, Catherine, and Samantha worked with the Zyrax scientists to modify crystal transceivers, placing them in a ring around the impact zone. Mary and Nicole helped evacuate Zyrax civilians from nearby settlements, while Lisa and the Queen coordinated the operation from a command post. The missile is entering the lower atmosphere. General Thala announced it will impact in 9 minutes. Lisa watched as her crew worked frantically alongside their alien allies. In just days, they had gone from strangers to comrades, fighting together against extinction. The modified crystals began to hum, creating a harmonic field that shimmered in the air. A dome of energy slowly formed over the impact zone. 5 minutes until impact, one scientist called out. The containment field is at 60% strength. Laura looked up from her work. It's not enough. We need more power. The Queen stepped forward, placing her 4 hands on a large raw crystal. Her skin began to glow as she channeled energy into the network. I will provide what is needed. No, Lisa protested. That could kill you. The Queen's voice was calm. Sometimes a ruler must sacrifice for her people. Besides, I will not be alone. She looked at her generals and the other Zyrax present, who understood immediately. They gathered around, placing their hands on the crystal, adding their energy. To hers, the containment field strengthened the dome, growing more solid. 2 minutes until impact. The missile was now visible, a black spear descending from the clouds. It's still not enough. Samantha shouted. The field needs a catalyst. Something to stabilize the harmonic patterns. Catherine, who had been studying Zyrax language and culture, stepped forward. I know what to do. She turned to the Queen. The ancient ritual of Zeltureth. Would it work here? The Queen looked surprised. You know of our sacred rituals? Catherine nodded. I learned them from your archives. The ritual uses sound to focus crystal energy. 1 minute to impact. The Queen nodded quickly. Lisa, your people must sing. Lisa repeated in disbelief. The vibration of human vocal cords creates a pattern. The crystals respond to the Queen explained. Your voices are different from ours. It might provide the catalyst. We need. Lisa looked at her crew and without further hesitation began to sing. A simple earth melody that her mother had taught her. Her crew joined in their voices, creating a harmony that echoed across the crystal field. The Zyrax watched in amazement as the crystals responded, pulsing in rhythm with the human song. The containment field suddenly solidified completely, becoming an opaque dome of energy impact in 10-9-8. Lisa and her crew continued singing, their voices growing stronger as they poured their humanity into the alien technology 7654. The Queen and the Zyrax channeled their energy into the crystals, which blazed with light. 3-2-1. The missile struck the dome with devastating force. The ground shook as black energy exploded against the containment field. For a terrifying moment, the dome bulged inward, threatening to collapse. Then the human song reached a crescendo and the field held. The consciousness disruptor detonated its lethal energy contained within the barrier. The explosion lasted for nearly a minute, a maelstrom of destructive force trying to break free. When it finally dissipated, leaving only a smoking crater within the still intact dome, Lisa and her crew fell silent, exhausted. We did it, Laura whispered in disbelief. The Queen released the crystal, staggering slightly, as she withdrew her energy from the network. You did it, she corrected. The song of humanity saved us. In the days that followed, the Zyrax began rebuilding the damage from the battle. The Crystal City was repaired, sections regenerating with the help of Zyrax technology. Lisa and her crew were celebrated as heroes with ceremonies and feasts in their honor. Queen Zalara invited Lisa to a private audience in the palace gardens 1 week after the battle. Your ship is fully repaired, she said as they walked among singing flowers. You and your crew are free to return to Earth if you wish. Lisa stopped beside a pool of luminescent water reflecting the 3 moons overhead. What will happen to the Zyrax now? The Queen gestured to the stars visible through the crystal dome above. The defeat of the Drax has opened new possibilities for us. We have lived in isolation for too long, fearful of outside contact. Now we see the value of alliance, especially with species as unique as yours. Lisa smiled. We're pretty good in a crisis, the Queen's 4 hands performed a gesture of agreement. You are unpredictable, adaptable, and surprisingly harmonious with our crystal technology. No Zyrax would have thought to sing during a missile attack, yet it saved countless lives. The implication hung in the air between them. Lisa looked at the alien ruler who had become something close to a friend. Do you want us to stay? For a time, perhaps, the Queen suggested, an exchange of knowledge and culture. Earth should know about the wider galaxy, and the Zyrax would benefit from human perspective. We could establish formal diplomatic relations. Lisa thought about her crew. They were scientists, explorers, not diplomats. But they had already accomplished the most significant first contact in human history. Believe Earth would be very interested in an alliance with the Xerax, Lisa said carefully, though I'm not authorized to negotiate formal treaties. The Queen made a sound like chiming bells, which Lisa had learned was laughter. You have already done more for diplomacy than any treaty, Captain Morgan. You have proven humans and Xerax can work together, fight together, even merge consciousness. There is no stronger bond as. They continued walking. The Queen explained her proposal. The Northern Star would return to Earth carrying Xerax representatives. Meanwhile, some of Lisa's crew would remain on the Xerax homeworld as the first human embassy. They would establish communication protocols for regular contact between the worlds. It's your decision, the Queen added. You may all return home if you wish. We would understand. Lisa thought about the incredible opportunity and responsibility. What had begun as a research mission had transformed into something far more significant. I need to discuss this with my crew, she said. But personally, I believe this could be the beginning of something extraordinary for both our species. The following morning, Lisa gathered her team in their quarters to present the Queen's proposal. To her surprise, they had already been discussing it among themselves. Mary, the biologist, spoke first. I want to stay, she said enthusiastically. The biodiversity here is unlike anything on Earth. I could spend decades studying the crystal symbiosis alone. Samantha nodded, in agreement. The physics of their technology challenges everything we understand about energy and matter. This could advance Earth science by centuries. Catherine, who had become fluent in the Xerax language, added, Their culture is fascinating. I've only scratched the surface of their history and philosophy. Laura and Nicole were more hesitant. Someone needs to take the ship back to Earth. Laura pointed out, We can't all stay here. Nicole agreed. Earth needs to know what we've discovered. A new, intelligent, species-advanced technology. The Drax threat. Space Command will need a first-hand report. Lisa considered their points. You're right. We need representatives in both places. After further discussion, they reached a decision. Lisa, Catherine, and Samantha would remain on the Xerax homeworld, establishing the first human embassy. Laura, Nicole, and Mary would return to Earth with the Xerax representatives to report their discoveries. When they presented their plan to Queen Zalara, she approved immediately. I will assign my most knowledgeable advisors to accompany your ship to Earth. They will carry gifts of technology and knowledge as tokens of our goodwill. Lisa and Catherine exchanged worried glances. The sacred chamber was the most restricted area in the palace. Even the Xerax generals rarely entered it. What's happening? Lisa asked the servant. The male Xerax kept his eyes lowered. The Queen will explain. All is well. But time is of importance. They followed the servant through corridors that deepened into the heart of the palace. The architecture changed, becoming more primal, less refined. Raw crystal formations jutted from walls and ceiling, pulsing, with energy that seemed older, somehow more powerful than the technology in the upper levels. Samantha joined them along the way, summoned by another servant. Her eyes widened as she took in their surroundings. The crystal concentration here is off. The charts, she whispered. The energy readings are unlike anything we've recorded. The passage ended at a massive door, made of what appeared to be solid crystal, carved with ancient symbols. It swung open silently as they approached, revealing a vast chamber within. The sacred chamber took Lisa's breath away. The ceiling soared hundreds of feet overhead, opening to the night sky where the three moons aligned in a rare configuration. The floor was a pool of liquid crystal that rippled with each step, yet somehow supported their weight. In the center of the chamber rose an island of raw crystal formations surrounding a pedestal where Queen Zalara waited. The Queen was not alone. 4 elderly Xerax stood with her, wearing simple robes unlike the elaborate garments of the court. Their skin was pale, almost translucent, and their eyes glowed with inner light. The humans approached, crossing a narrow crystal bridge to the central island. Lisa noticed that Catherine was translating the symbols, carved everywhere, her lips moving silently as she read. Welcome, Ambassador. Queen Zalara greeted them. These are the crystal sages, the keepers of our most ancient knowledge. The elderly Xerax bowed slightly, their forearms moving in complex patterns that Lisa recognized as signs of respect. Why have you brought us here? Your Majesty, Lisa asked. The Queen gestured to the aligned moons visible through the opening above. The triple alignment occurs only once every 60 cycles. It reveals truths hidden. At other times, the sages have discovered something concerning you and your crew. One of the sages stepped forward. Her voice was melodic, but carried the weight of great age. When you connected to our crystal network, something unprecedented occurred. A resonance pattern formed between human consciousness and Zyrax crystal. This pattern continues to grow. Samantha frowned. I don't understand. Are you saying we're still connected somehow? Another sage nodded. The connection was never truly severed, merely dormant. Your human minds created pathways previously unknown to us, neural patterns that remained imprinted on the crystal matrix, and this is causing problems. Lisa guessed. The Queen moved to a pool of liquid crystal that served as a viewing screen. The surface rippled, then displayed images of crystal formations throughout the city and beyond. They pulsed with new patterns of light. Not problems, the Queen said. The opposite, in fact. Since your minds touched our network, the crystals have grown in new ways, developed new properties. Our scientists report a 30% increase in energy efficiency. Our ships move faster. Our communications reach further. Catherine, who had been studying the carvings on the walls, gasped as understanding dawned. The prophecy, she said. The balancers aren't just saviors, they're catalysts for evolution. The oldest sage turned to Catherine. You read our ancient texts, well, human. The prophecy speaks of those who would bring change through balance. The two-armed ones who sing to crystals. Lisa looked between the Queen and the sages. I still don't understand what exactly is happening to us, and to your people. The Queen placed one of her 4 hands on Lisa's shoulder, a gesture of unusual intimacy among the Zyrax. Your consciousness carries patterns ours does not. Unpredictability, creativity, intuition. These qualities have transferred to our crystal network, changing it fundamentally. And in return, the crystals are changing us. Samantha finished as scientific. Realization hit her. Our neural patterns, our very brain chemistry. All 3 of us have been experiencing enhanced perception since the battle. Lisa thought about the strange dreams she'd been having, the moments of unusual clarity, the ability to sense the emotions of nearby Zyrax. It wasn't just cultural adaptation. The triple alignment reveals all one, Sage said, gesturing toward the moons. In this light, we can see the changes more clearly. She waved her hands, and the liquid crystal pool shifted, showing microscopic images of human and Zyrax cells. Samantha leaned closer, studying the images with scientific fascination. Those are our cells, but the neural pathways are restructuring. Look at the unusual crystalline formations in the synapses. Queen nodded. Your biology is incorporating elements of our crystal technology while remaining human. And some Zyrax, particularly those who worked closely with you, are developing more adaptable neural pathways, similar to human patterns. Lisa felt a chill of both wonder and concern. This is evolution happening in real time. Is it dangerous? The oldest sage tilted her head in consideration. Not dangerous, but transformative. The changes appear beneficial, enhancing your natural abilities while maintaining your essential nature. But they are permanent. The prophecy speaks of the merging as the beginning of a new path for both species. Catherine had continued translating the wall carvings. There's more, she said with excitement. According to this text, the changes will stabilize after the first lunar cycle. Those affected will become bridges between our species, able to fully communicate with both without losing their original identity. The implications were staggering. Lisa looked at her 2 crew members, seeing the same mix of emotions on their faces. Fear, excitement, scientific curiosity, and wonder. Why didn't you tell us this might happen? She asked the Queen, trying to keep accusation from her voice. The Queen's skin pulsed with patterns that Lisa now recognized as regret. We did not know. The prophecy was considered metaphorical by most of our scholars. Only when the sages detected the changes did we understand its literal meaning. So what happens now? Samantha asked. Are we going to keep changing? Will it affect the crew members who return to Earth? One of the sages approached Samantha. The changes are self-limiting. The transformation requires constant exposure to our crystal energy. Your distant friends will experience minor enhancements to their intuition and perception, but nothing more. And us, Lisa asked. You three have been chosen by fate or chance, the sage replied. You will become the true balancers, not Xerax, not fully human, but something new. A bridge between worlds. The Queen watched Lisa carefully. I understand this is unexpected, Captain Morgan. If you wish to return to Earth, we will provide transportation, although the journey would be difficult during transformation. Lisa looked at Catherine and Samantha. This should be your choice as well. Catherine smiled slightly. I came to study alien language and culture. Now I'm becoming part of the greatest cultural exchange in history. How could I leave? Samantha nodded in agreement. This is the scientific opportunity of a lifetime-controlled cellular evolution in response to alien technology. I'm staying. Lisa felt relief at their responses. She had already made her own decision. Earth needed allies in the galaxy, allies who truly understood each other. What better way than through ambassadors who could experience both worlds? We stay, she told the Queen. But Earth needs to know what's happening. The ship hasn't left the star system yet. Can we send a message? The Queen nodded. We will send a crystal communication. Pod will reach your ship before they activate the faster-than-light drive. Your friends must decide whether to continue to Earth or return. But know this. The changes have already begun for all three of you, as if to emphasize her point. The liquid crystal pool rippled again, showing images of the three humans. Their neural scans revealed unusual activity patterns of energy that matched the surrounding crystals. I feel different already, Samantha admitted. It's like my mind is clearer. I can sense the crystal resonances throughout the palace. Catherine nodded. I've been dreaming in Xerax language, understanding concepts that had no translation before. Lisa had noticed changes too. Enhanced intuition, flashes of awareness that went beyond her five senses, a growing connection to the Xerax around her, particularly the Queen. The sages led them to three small pools of liquid crystal at the edge of the central island. The alignment of the moons focuses the transformation, one explained. If you choose to proceed, immerse your hands. The process will accelerate and stabilize. Lisa looked at her friends one last time. Are we ready for this? Catherine smiled, quoting an old Earth saying, one small step for humans, one giant leap for interspecies relations. Samantha finished. Together, the three humans placed their hands into the liquid crystal. The sensation was immediate. Warm energy flowed up their arms and throughout their bodies. Lisa gasped as her perception expanded. She could feel the crystal network, again but differently, more naturally, as if it had become an extension of her nervous system. She could sense Catherine and Samantha nearby, their minds glowing with human thought patterns yet changing, becoming more harmonious with the crystal resonance. Around them, the Xerax consciousness flowed in ordered patterns, beautiful in their complexity. The Queen shone brightest, her mind, a tapestry of leadership, responsibility, and care for her people. This is amazing, Catherine whispered, her voice seemingly both audible and mental. 1 year had passed since the Northern Star returned to Earth carrying news of the Xerax and the transformation of 3 human crew members. The reaction from Earth governments had been predictable at first. Fear, suspicion, diplomatic wrangling, and scientific skepticism gradually gave way to cautious curiosity and eventual cooperation. Today marked the historic moment when the first official Xerax delegation would arrive on Earth. Lisa, Catherine, and Samantha stood on the landing platform at the newly constructed Interspecies Diplomatic Center in Geneva, Switzerland. Their bodies had fully adapted to the crystal symbiosis, their skin occasionally shimmering with subtle luminescence when emotions ran high. Earth seems so different now, Catherine remarked as they watched officials and scientists gathering for the arrival. Small somehow, Lisa nodded, understanding perfectly. Their enhanced perception made Earth feel more limited than before. The crystal symbiosis had expanded there, senses in ways difficult to describe to unmodified humans. They perceived energy fields, electromagnetic patterns, and subtle vibrations that others could not. Yet it's still home, Samantha said. There's a richness to Earth life, a diversity. The Xyrax world doesn't have. The three women had spent 6 months on the Xyrax homeworld learning to control and understand their new abilities before returning to Earth as liaisons. Their arrival had caused a sensation. Modified humans with alien symbiotic properties were simultaneously fascinating and frightening to the general population. The past 6 months on Earth had been spent educating officials, scientific teams, and the public, preparing everyone for direct contact with the Xyrax they had undergone countless tests, interviews, and demonstrations proving they were still human, despite their enhancements. Lisa checked the time the Xyrax ship would arrive in 20 minutes exactly. The Queen herself was coming, a gesture of tremendous significance. A group of officials approached, led by Diane Foster, the newly appointed Secretary of Interspecies Relations, a career diplomat. She had been chosen for her exceptional adaptability and open-mindedness. Ambassador Morgan. She greeted Lisa formally. We prepared for their landing requirements. Lisa smiled. Everything is ready, Madam Secretary. The crystal resonance platform has been constructed to their specifications. The atmospheric adjustment field is active, and the translation systems are in place, although they won't be needed for primary communication. The secretary nodded, looking slightly nervous despite her professional demeanor. The crystalline structures the Xyrax had requested be built were unlike any Earth architecture there. Geometric precision and unusual materials had challenged even the best engineers. Will they be able to breathe our atmosphere? She asked for perhaps the 10th time. Samantha answered patiently. Yes, Madam Secretary. The Xyrax respiratory system is adaptable to nitrogen-oxygen mixtures. The field is merely for their comfort. Not survival. Catherine, who had been monitoring communications, added. They've just entered Earth orbit. Their shuttle is preparing to descend. As the officials moved to their positions, Lisa felt a familiar presence touch her mind. The Queen's consciousness reached out across space, establishing contact before the physical arrival. We approach your world. Queen Zalara's thoughts came clear and melodic in Lisa's mind. It is beautiful. From orbit, blue and vibrant with life. Lisa shared the mental image with Catherine and Samantha, who smiled in response. Their ability to communicate telepathically had been the most difficult aspect for Earth authorities to accept. Some military officials had seen it as a security risk until rigorous testing proved they could not read unwilling minds or access classified information without permission. The crowd grew silent as a point of light appeared in the sky, growing larger as it descended. The Xyrax shuttle was unlike any Earth vessel. Its curved organic design shimmered with opalescent light, making it appear almost alive, which in some ways it was. The living crystal technology of the Xyrax meant their ships were partially sentient, responding to both commands and environments. The shuttle landed with perfect precision on the crystalline platform, its hull pulsing with patterns of light that Lisa recognized as formal diplomatic signals. Catherine and Samantha stood beside her, the three balancers as they were now officially known, ready to bridge the gap between species. A doorway formed in the shuttle's side, flowing open rather than sliding or swinging. Queen Zalara emerged, her 8-foot-tall, 4-armed form drawing gasps from those who had only seen images before. Her blue skin shimmered with royal patterns, and her opal eyes took in the Earth delegation with ancient wisdom. Behind her came 8 Xyrax officials, 4 females in positions of authority and 4 males in scientific and cultural roles. The balance was intentional, a demonstration of Xyrax social structure. Lisa stepped forward, bowing in the Xyrax manner while simultaneously projecting welcome through the crystal connection. Queen Zalara of the Xyrax Empire, welcome to Earth. The Queen returned the gesture, adding a human handshake she had practiced for the occasion. Captain Morgan, Ambassador of Earth. It is an honor to stand on your world. The Earth officials watched in amazement as Lisa and the Queen communicated both verbally and through the subtle light patterns on their skin. The connection between them was obvious, even to unmodified humans. Secretary Foster stepped forward with admirable composure. Your Majesty, on behalf of The United Earth Council. I welcome you and your delegation to our planet. We hope this marks the beginning of a long and beneficial relationship between our peoples. The formal introductions continued as the Xerax delegates were presented to Earth, officials Catherine and Samantha, helping to smooth cultural differences through their enhanced perceptions. When a Xerax scientist made a gesture that could have been misinterpreted by humans, Samantha quickly explained its meaning, preventing potential offense. When an Earth official spoke too loudly for sensitive Xerax hearing, Catherine subtly moderated the volume. Throughout it all, Lisa maintained connection with the Queen, sharing impressions and subtle cultural context that would have been impossible to translate conventionally. The delegation moved into the diplomatic center for the formal ceremony. The main hall had been designed with both species in mind. Crystal formations imported from the Xerax homeworld hummed in harmony with Earth materials, creating an environment where both humans and Xerax could feel comfortable. As they took their positions, Lisa reflected on the journey that had brought them here. From a crashed research vessel to an interspecies alliance that would change both civilizations forever. The Secretary General of the United Nations approached the podium. Today marks an historic occasion, the first formal diplomatic recognition between humanity and an alien civilization. In the Xerax, we have found not enemies but friends, not competitors but collaborators. The knowledge and technology they have already shared has advanced our understanding of the universe and ourselves. Queen Zilara stepped forward, her forearms in a formal position. The journey between stars is vast, but the journey between minds can be vaster still. Through the balancers, we have learned that different species can find harmony. Together we face a universe of possibilities and challenges. The Drax threat remains, though diminished. The galaxy holds other wonders and dangers best faced with allies. The formal speeches continued, but Lisa found her attention drawn to the reactions of the audience. Some humans looked at the Xerax with wonder, others with unease. A few studied the three balancers with expressions ranging from admiration to suspicion. The path ahead would not be easy. After the ceremony, the delegates moved to a reception area where Earth foods and Xerax nutrient crystals were served. Lisa noticed several scientists gathering around Samantha, eager to learn more about the crystal symbiosis. Catherine was surrounded by linguists, anthropologists, and cultural experts, all fascinated by her unique understanding of Xerax society. "Excuse me." Ambassador Morgan. Lisa turned to find a young woman waiting nervously to speak with her. Molly Grant, Space Command Research Division. She introduced herself. "I've been studying your reports about the crystal technology." Lisa smiled encouragingly. "And what have you concluded?" The woman hesitated. "The quantum entanglement principles involved are beyond our current theoretical models, but I've been developing a hypothesis." She paused. "My team believes that with the right modifications, humans could develop our own version of crystal technology. Not as advanced as the Xerax, of course, but a first step." Lisa studied the scientist with her enhanced perception, seeing genuine innovation and ethical consideration in her approach. "That's actually quite promising, Dr. Grant." The Xerax believe that each species must develop technology that harmonizes with their own biology. Their crystal resonance works for them because of their evolutionary history. Humans need systems that match our neural patterns. Dr. Grant's eyes widened with excitement. "That's exactly my thinking. We could create interfaces that work with human intuition and creativity, rather than trying to directly copy Xerax designs." Lisa nodded. "I'd like to introduce you to someone." She guided the scientist toward one of the male Xerax delegates. "This is Zelnar, their leading technology adaptation specialist. He's been working on similar concepts." As the two began an animated discussion, Lisa felt a sense of satisfaction. This was what the alliance was meant to foster, not just diplomacy but collaboration, innovation that drew from both worlds.